and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Cassandra and I create videos on productivity, journaling, and the occasional travel and living abroad vlog. I am super excited for today's video because we are going to be walking through my 2025 planners. Usually I am a one planner girly and it is usually my bullet journal, but for 2025 I actually found a different system that I am excited to test out. So for 2025, I'm actually going to be using a 3-planner system. The first one is my bullet journal. This is going to be really my everyday. And then I have a MUJI planner that I'm using for business and social media. And then I am using a Kristen Ley monthly and weekly planner for my budget tracking. So I'm going to walk through each of the planners and how I set it up and how I plan on using it so you all can see what makes sense for me and why I'm switching from just a 1 planner to a 3-planner system, because sometimes I think people might think that is a lot of planners for one person, but really I have my reasons for why I had to categorize and really compartmentalize certain areas of my life, because the bullet journal just wasn't doing it for me. So let's go through the bullet journal first. So this is my bullet journal. It is the Rhodia Gold Book so far. I have about 6 months left in this bullet journal, and then eventually I may switch to a different bullet journal just because I will be running out of space. So this is my everyday really planning system, and let me show you all a little bit of what this looks like. So I have been bullet journaling for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and it has been one of my favorite ways to combine creativity and productivity. If you want to see how I set up my 2025 cover pages, then I will link that video here. But really, my bullet journal is for the everyday tasks. So as you can see, I mark my top 3 priorities and then anything else that I need to get done, and then even my personal side of things. And you can see this as I used it in the past. I also track a dashboard for each month, gift trackers. I write down what I'm supposed to be doing and then any life admin things. I think for me, the reason why I am switching from putting everything into my bullet journal to separate planners is because it started to get a little bit too crowded. And then I think for me, my bullet journal is a space to be creative and also to be, productive. And when I started trying to use my bullet journal for all the things, then that's when I started getting confused and I started basically losing track of all of the stuff that I had to do. So for example, let me find it if I can. In September of last year, I created this September spread. I put in my dashboard, and then for the business side of things, I decided to host a marketing reset here on YouTube. And then I created a whole separate spread for this reset so I could take notes and write down a few things for the reset. And in theory, it worked because I could write down my notes, but then I realized that I need a separate book for my business side of things because it just kind of got lost in all of the personal and the to-dos. And what I really like to do with my bullet journal is use it more as a daily, weekly, and monthly task tracking notebook, and also to keep track of daily habits, or for example here I have important dates, books I want to read, my top 3 goals, and then people to see. For me, my bullet journal is the thing that I turn to track my daily tasks and my weekly tasks. And I don't necessarily want to track social media posting or my marketing plan or even like money in here because it just kind of gets lost in the sauce. Also, another thing that I realized is that because I bullet journal very frequently, and I've mentioned this in my other bullet journal videos, I usually use a bullet journal for 6 months of the year. So for example, this bullet journal I started back in July of 2024. If I can find it. And then I used it up until the end of 2024, and then I am starting 2025 in it. But because, I only have a certain amount of pages in my bullet journal, then I will probably use this bullet journal up until June of 2025, and then I will need to buy a new bullet journal to create the next 6 months in here. And really that is fine. But I realized that I can't be planning like big yearly or quarterly plans because then I have to keep returning back to a notebook that I don't use anymore. So I realized that maybe my bullet journal is just best for the daily, weekly, and monthly logging and task tracking instead of trying to plan out like big picture goals or trying to track quarterly, or not quarterly, but trying to track like full year plans, especially if it comes to the business or even to the budgeting or marketing or anything like that. So this is why I am just turning my bullet journal into my daily, weekly, and monthly tracking for a mix of my tasks. So this will probably have things like what I need to do for work, what I need to do that day. So if I flip to this week, I have to edit the 2025 bullet journal setup. I have to film this video that you're watching now, and then I need to follow up with a role that I applied to. And this is really what works best for me. And it's great because then I can track my personal tasks. So if I need to like make a doctor's appointment or return something, and then I can also track my business tasks in here. And I think that is the best option because then I get to combine creativity, productivity, and not get lost in all of the pages or try to track information that may be in previous notebooks. And then now you have just like too many notebooks to keep track of, and we don't want that. We want to simplify things. So that is my bullet journal. Right now, it's the Rhodia Gold Book, and then when I use up all the pages, probably by June 2025, then I will need to buy a new one. I think I'm going to buy another Rhodia Gold Book. I really love this colorway and this like color scheme. I love the purple with the orange detailing. So maybe I'll get the same color, or we will go for a separate or a different color. So that is my bullet journal for weekly, monthly, and quarter, or what am I saying? Daily, weekly, monthly, and sometimes quarterly task tracking. Now, let's go into the next book, which is my business planner. Welcome to my business and marketing planner. This is the first of its kind for me, at least. I was basically planning all of my business and marketing in my bullet journal previously, and also with like digital planning, so in Notion. And I realized that I just cannot be combining the business and marketing, since it is so robust and has so many moving pieces, into my bullet journal. And then also I realized that I can't really plan all of the things into my Notion, because I like to keep Notion more as like high level goal setting, planning, and visioning. So really like my digital hub, and trying to plan out all of the moving pieces in the business and marketing in a digital space, especially in Notion, was just so confusing for me, because I felt like I had to click to so many different things. So what we're doing is we are using this MUJI monthly and weekly planner. This is the first time I have ever bought a MUJI notebook, and people have said that it is pretty good, and the paper quality is similar to the Hobonichi Techo. So I wanted to buy a Hobonichi Techo for myself because I kind of got obsessed with it, and then I started watching so many different like setup videos on YouTube about it. But shipping to the shipping to Spain was quite expensive. So I was like, you know what? We are going for the MUJI, which is actually a much more, I think, economic option, and also still offers very similar things. So this is the cover of my 2025 business and marketing notebook. I've got my brain has too many tabs open, definitely. We added some cute like notification stickers, the word confident, an idea sticker, and then I got the sticker from my friend Laura Fama, who is the creator of Her Why. And it says, remember, as leaders of color, we carry not just the weight of our goals, but the dreams of those before us and the hopes of those to come. Our journey paves the way for future generations. Guide with wisdom, lead with courage, and always uplift with your actions. And I love this. I feel like this is just like a really nice spread or sticker spread for my business stuff. So let's walk through what we have in here. We have my information. I added a cute little sticker, small steps, big goals. Just a reminder for me that, small steps definitely count. Then I added in a color key. So because there are multiple pieces of content that I create for myself, then I wanted to make sure that I track that. So we have purple for Instagram, blue for LinkedIn, yellow for my Sunday Reset newsletter, pinkish, magenta, I guess, for Brand Compass, which is a newsletter that I am hoping to launch later, and then red for YouTube. And when you open this, you have your future log and an overview of the year. So the MUJI planner gives you a full year overview of 2024, 2025, and 2026, which I think is great. I think this is awesome because in my bullet journal, I have to draw this out, but since this is a pre-made planner already, it already has everything built in, which I think is even better because now I don't have to worry about creating those spreads. This is the yearly log, I believe, and I'm not totally sure how to use this yet, so it's kind of just there. If you have ideas on how to use a page like this, let me know. A lot of people I see like track when they do things, so it's more like a habit tracker, but since this is my business and like marketing planner, I am not totally sure what I would want to track. Maybe like posting, like if I posted today, I don't know. So when we flip the page, we have our monthly spreads. So this is something that I'm not totally sure that I really like about the MUJI planners is that they have all of their monthly spreads and overviews in the front of the planner. And then later it has the weekly spreads after. And usually in my bullet journal, I have my monthly spread and then I go directly into my weeklies because I like to see the month with the week, but it's okay. I guess that's why, I don't know why it's set up like that, but this is just an example of what I had for December. So what I'm doing is every time I post a YouTube video, I add in a little sticker and write down what I actually posted. And then on this side, I have my Instagram posts. And here's an example of how I scheduled it for January. So I have this cute paper clip. It's a little camera. And I clip together all of the monthly spreads so that I can just focus on, 1 month at a time. And also I don't have to flip through so many pages. And what we have is YouTube and then social media. And what I do is I am writing down like just any new ideas that I definitely want to make or post about during this month. So for example, on social media, I have a 2025 vibes and word of the year. I want to make an intro post, a work with me, and then a couple other things. And then something that I explained in my 2025 bullet journal setup video is that I'm going to be focusing on like the first 3 weeks of the month on working in the business, implementing, creating, and all of that stuff. And then what I want to do is the last week of each month to focus on rest and strategy. Like I really want to use this week to review how things went in the month, how things went in the past 3 weeks, what is working, what isn't, and then brainstorm ideas on what to do moving forward into the next month. So that's why I've highlighted the first 3 weeks in blue for work weeks, and then the orange for rest and strategy. I also did this in February. It's clipped now, but you can see it in February and then in March. And I've only done it up until the first quarter because I want to test and see how it goes. And I want to be really strict with making this happen, because usually what I do is I will say I'm going to take like rest or strategy and like, you know, focusing on working on the business, not in the business. But sometimes I don't do that. And I try to do that like weekly, but I think having a whole week blocked off for just rest and strategy is probably best for me. You may notice that some things are written in pencil and then some have pen with like colorful dots. So anything that is written in pencil is basically planned and scheduled. And once I actually publish or schedule something, then I erase the pencil and I write it in pen. So these little papers are basically that I did actually publish a YouTube video. And for example, I was supposed to publish a Vietnam vlog, my final Vietnam vlog, but I didn't end up doing it. So this doesn't actually get covered by a piece of paper. And then anything for social media, for example, here we have Instagram carousel. I put in like a Vietnam vlog carousel. Since I didn't actually make the Vietnam vlog, I did not create this carousel. So this stays as a pencil, and then anything written in pen is actually stuff that is done and scheduled and ready to go live. This is just like the monthly overview. I think this is great because I can kind of see what I need to get done. And instead of putting it specifically in my bullet journal and trying to track all of this stuff, which just gets to be too much, especially with like my personal life and tracking like doctor's appointments or vacation or anything like that, then I like having it in this monthly spread instead. Now, something else that I think is really great is the monthly spread, or not the monthly, the weekly spreads. So this is what my weekly spread looks like. And I love that the MUJI planner gives me space on the left for the actual like dates, and then I can draw lines to divide stuff. And then it gives me a blank space to write down any ideas or brainstorm stuff. What I'm basically using this for, at least on the left-hand side, is writing down everything that needs to go out on social media or my marketing. So right now I'm just focused on social media, and again, purple means any Instagram posts, red are YouTube videos. And then on the right side, I'm writing down what I basically need to do. So this is like a running list, and then what I will do is I will migrate kind of anything that is important here into my bullet journal, so I know that this is the task that I need to complete for this day or this week. And then I have some like notes section. You can kind of see it, how I used it in this page, for example, and then down here where I wrote down more like notes that I took and any ideas that I had, or just feedback from other folks. And that's probably how I'm going to be using this moving forward. I like this system so far, and we'll see if it changes as we go along. Something else that I wanted to show you all is back here, there is a section where MUJI gives you just like a whole bunch of like grid sheets. And I have created a quarterly planning page here. I've divided it and wrote down each quarter. I actually need to fill this out. And what I plan on doing here is basically writing down any like launches or special projects that I plan on having for each quarter. I also have an ideas page. Don't look at that. That is a smudge from the stamp. So I have an ideas page that I can pop in any ideas, or if like people ask me questions on social media, then I can pop it here as potential pieces of content. And then specifically, if people ask for things, specific pieces of content, I have one page for YouTube and one page for Instagram. So far, that's all I have. I have like the stickers for this notebook here. And I think that is great for me. This is all new to me, so this is how I'm using it currently. This may change as, time goes on and I see that other things take priority or I want to track other things, but so far, I think this system is really great. Usually what I have is my bullet journal open to my daily tasks, and then I open this monthly spread right next to my bullet journal so I can track and see what type of content I need to be focusing on, what the marketing materials are, and all of that. I don't have any launches planned or like big sales things planned right now, but I think when I start planning all of that stuff, then it will go into my business and marketing. And then I will get to plan out like specific sales posts, and then that can be transferred or migrated into my bullet journal for me to complete. So I love this planner, and I am so happy that I decided to get a business and marketing planner for this year. Now, the last planner that I am using is this budget planner. It is from, I believe, Kristen Ley. And really, this was a planner if you live in the United States. We have stores called TJ Maxx or Marshalls, and I think in the UK or specifically England, they have TK Maxx. Well, in the United States, we have TJ Maxx, and they just kind of have like a aisle of random stationery items. So when I was visiting my family in the United States in November of 2024, I found this planner and I thought, oh, cute. So I decorated it. It didn't come like this. It was just plain white with this bow actually and the 2025 like gold embossed. So I put my washi tapes here and kind of like layered it to give it like a different vibe. And then since I'm using this for my budget planning and kind of like budget tracking, then I added in some stickers with actual like money symbols because, we need that. And then to me, seeing flowers and plants is like a sign of abundance because nature is abundant. You see where I'm going at with this? So I added in some like nature and flower stickers that I had. And let me walk you through how I am using this. So my information, here are my money goals. My goal for this year is to have savings of 12,000 euros for a house and to bring in revenue of 4,000 euros a month. My biggest priority is basically to have financial independence, especially after 2024 when I took a accidental sabbatical, turned adult gap year that wasn't really planned. Then my savings and all of that stuff kind of dwindled a bit. So we really need to work on bringing in more revenue in general for the business. And then that means more income for me. And then putting some of that money into savings so that we can buy a home and I can build financial independence. So here is what the planner looks like. We have a 2025 and 2026 overview page. Again, I like that these built like pre-made planners already have this because in my bullet journal, I like to get creative, but for something like this, I kind of just want everything done and made for me. So here it is. And then it goes directly into the monthly spreads. So this planner is similar to the MUJI planner where truly, I don't really know why people do this, but they have all of the monthly spreads in the beginning. So the monthly like overviews, and then afterwards it goes into the weekly spreads. And I like this weekly spread as well. It's less space than the MUJI planner, but since this is more just for like budget tracking, I don't think I need that much space. So it has like a little blank side and then a side with lines so that you can write notes. And then it has Saturday and Sunday here. So it's all divided into one page or 2 pages. And I think this works for me. What I am doing so far is I am writing down things like, okay, my revenue and then my expenses. And just kind of making note of, okay, when are bills coming in? So for example, I have my accountant charge, which was on the 3rd, rent is on the 1st. I have a membership charge and like Apple iCloud that gets charged here. And I think this helps me mainly because I kind of knew when each charge was happening. Like in general, I know like this charge comes monthly and, each month is this expense, but I never really knew the actual date when I would get charged. And I want to just be more conscious of those things because I want to build a budgeting habit. And also I just want to be smarter with my money and more conscious of what goes in and what comes out when something goes in and when something goes out, because before I kind of just intuitively knew, but I didn't really know much. So that's what we have here. And then I have a payday sticker so that I can remind myself that, the first Monday or the last Monday of each month to pay myself. So far, I haven't really used this notebook much. I'm not totally sure how to use it yet. I know I just want to track more. And since budgeting is not something that I am so familiar or confident with, I do feel like it'll take me a little bit longer to figure out how to actually use this budgeting planner system. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about budget planners, and I think what I need to do is just create more of a habit with it and kind of build it into my schedule. So for example, the weekly pages, I actually haven't even filled out at all because I'm not totally sure what to do. But maybe what I could do is at the end of each week, I just write down what my bank balances are and if anything came in or didn't come in. Not totally sure. So if you all have a budget planner, let me know in the comments how you use it because I'm not totally sure how to use this planner yet. I just know that I want to use it and I want to be just more conscious of my money systems. Something that I think is cool is in the back, it has a notes section. So I watched a couple videos on how to set up your budget planner. And here I wrote down my budget categories. I need to write down my budget goals. I'm not totally sure what they could be yet. This is something that I maybe need to just think about more. And then I wrote down a money routine. In my mind, this is the ideal money routine, and I always follow this to a T. Since I am quite new to actual budget tracking and budgeting, we will see how this goes. In my mind, it goes really well, but since this is a totally new habit for me, and I feel like I do have some money mindset, money, potentially trauma to work through. Looking at my bank accounts always may freak me out, but I know I need to do it because the more I know about my money, the smarter I can be with my money, which means the more control I have and the more intentional I am with what I spend, where I spend it, how I spend it, and all of that stuff. Especially because I really just want to live a more intentional lifestyle. And yes, that goes with how I show up for myself and how I show up for my relationships. But I think money, something that I really learned last year is that money is what funds it all. And if I am not smart or conscious of what I'm doing with my money, then it's really hard for me to build financial independence and to feel good about where my money is going, because then I'm kind of just being ignorant about it. So that's what I have so far in this notebook. It's not really filled, but I am still excited about it because I think if I can figure out how to build this budget planner notebook into my system, then I think this will just help me build a really healthy budgeting habit. That is this for this budget planner. Let me know if you have ideas on how to use a budget planner, or if you know other creators who create budgeting tips. Please share them in the comments because this is a totally new concept for me. All right, y'all, that is all I've got for my 2025 planner system. We have a total of 3 planners, my daily bullet journal for daily, weekly, and monthly check-ins and just tracking, logging, and tasks, my business and marketing planner for all things business, launches, sales campaigns, just creating content and marketing in general. And then my new budget planner that I am still learning how to use. I feel really good about this 3 planner system. I felt like it was going to be a lot in the beginning because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like extra, this is too much. But really, now that I have like broken it down and kind of like set up these planners, I feel really good about this system. I think the only one that I am a little bit worried about is this one because I'm not totally sure how to use this yet, but I feel really good about at least these two. And then I know as time goes by, if I pull this out and work through it, then I can build a really good budgeting habit. So those are my 3 planners for 2025, and I am excited to kind of walk these through with you, or walk through these with you every month or every quarter, and kind of see how things change, how I end up using stuff, if something changes, or if I find like a new way to use these planners. I'm excited to share that with you, and that is it. Let me know if you have any questions about these planners. Let me know what planners you are using for 2025, if you just have 1 planner or 3 or more like me. And I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also to subscribe to the channel. All right, thanks y'all. Happy planning, and I will see you soon. Ciao.